Remember this word, depraved. Depraved, what does it mean? Perverse behavior, lacking moral decency, morally corrupt, wicked. I noticed you never hear it really anymore because it's not really outstanding. It seems like so much is depraved in our world. But it occurred to me that it is the perfect word, especially after what I saw today, for Joe Biden. He is depraved. This is a depraved man. What he did and what he's done. But you know about the 3 soldiers who were killed in Jordan, right? 3 heroes. I want to talk about the one in the middle, Kennedy Sanders. Just 23 years old, and, well, her family is obviously devastated by the loss. Now, Joe Biden called the family, and there were television cameras in the room when that phone call came in. And, well, Joe said some things that were just not true. Said it to the wrong people at the wrong time. Take a look.
The parents overcome with emotion when the president reveals how their daughter will be honored.
We're promoting her posthumously to sergeant.
Oh, wow. That is the best news I've heard today. Thank you so much. You don't know how much that means to us.
Oh, well, I tell you what, it means a lot to me. My son spent a year in Iraq until I lost him, and I 1% of all these kids are the ones that really take care of 99% of us.
Even in a moment like that, Joe makes it about himself, and he throws dishonesty in. My son spent a year in Iraq. That's how I lost him. That is not true. That is what could be called stolen valor. Have you heard about stolen valor? It's also something that you don't hear about too much because it doesn't happen too much, actually, because it's such a horrible thing, making false claims about performing military service, earning military awards or medals, being a prisoner of war, and other details that aren't true. I guess you could call this vicarious stolen valor. Because Beau Biden, by the way, I have no beef with Beau, great guy by all accounts. His father is the one doing all the bragging. Isn't it good enough, Joe, that he served his country in Iraq? You have to make it sound like he died in Iraq. That's what you do. But he didn't. He didn't die in Iraq. This is when your son Beau was there. Let's see here. Between 2008 and 2009. When did he die? He died in 2015 of cancer in a hospital in Washington, D.C. The cancer he died from is glioblastoma, and there is no known cause. They don't know why this cancer happens. Joe falsely does this routinely, that his son died in Iraq, and it's disgusting.
Think of Iraq because that's where my son died. I say this as a father of a man who won the Bronze Star, the Conspicuous Service Medal, and lost his life in Iraq. My son who spent a year in Iraq and died was a patriot.
Stolen valor. That is a form of stolen valor. And I think we have to talk about this finally. It's okay, again, no disrespect to Beau Biden, but most people, when they serve in the military, go in at their peak physical condition. For instance, after high school. This is when the bulk of people in the military join up. Or maybe after college, if they follow the officer track, they're 22 years old. This is a thing, though, that we're seeing more and more in political circles. Beau Biden joined at the age of 34. He was a lawyer, and that's fine. We need military lawyers, but there's a political benefit to it. And when he was in Iraq, his father, for most of it, was Vice President of the United States. Most people, when they serve, can't be visited by their vice president father, the deputy commander-in-chief. And actually, I think Joe, having been the father of a service member, has given them this weird overconfidence when it comes to military affairs. And he doesn't seem sensitive to those who serve. My son died in Iraq. Get out of my way. Look at what happened when a veteran approached him during the campaign and had concerns about Joe's vote for the war in Iraq.
I'm an Air Force veteran. I'm here with Army veterans. We're just wondering why we should vote for someone who voted for a war and kill thousands of our brothers and sisters. You also gave a medal to the man who enabled that war in Gaza. Your blood is on your hands as well. And you're disqualified. My friends are dead.
So is my son. So is my son who's in Iraq. Okay? For you. That doesn't matter, right? I don't think it matters to me. It matters a lot to me. Let me tell
I'm
you
sure it
something.
does. I'm sure it does. And I'm not going after your son.
You better not.
I'm not. No, I'm not going after your son. You were disqualified, sir. Disqualified.
Did you follow all that? This guy's saying, I don't like your vote to authorize the invasion of Iraq. No weapons of mass destruction. A lot of people died. Instead of defending his position, Joe says, my son died over there, and you better not mess with him, and walks away. This is an emotional ticket out of having to defend his vote. He does it for all kinds of things. And I think the troops ultimately are suffering. And those 3 soldiers who were killed in Jordan, you know, I can make the case that that is on Joe. He made this happen. His weak leadership, his canceling of anything Trump, right? He wants to be so different from Trump. Even the stuff that Trump was doing that was effective, he doesn't want any part of it. Remember this during the campaign? Joe went all over the place saying that we will go to electric. We're going to get off of fossil fuels. Found a way to use this to get close to girls on the campaign trail. I mean, really close.
Kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree. But I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate with you, okay?
You see, you don't have to get that close to say that, but look, he's actually kind of making good on this promise. The Keystone Pipeline, all kinds of other crazy policies, and antagonizing our allies who produce oil, like Saudi Arabia. This is another bonehead thing he said during the campaign.
The CIA has concluded that the leader of Saudi Arabia directed the murder of U.S.-based journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The State Department also says the Saudi government is responsible for executing nonviolent offenders and for torture. President Trump has not punished senior Saudi leaders. Would you?
Yes, and I said it at the time. Khashoggi was, in fact, murdered and dismembered, and I believe in the order of the Crown Prince. And I would make it very clear, we were not going to, in fact, sell more weapons to them. We were going to, in fact, make them pay the price and make them, in fact, the pariah that they are.
China does things that are 1,000 times worse than Saudi Arabia. Why is he so easy on China and so tough on Saudi Arabia? A key ally. They're not perfect, Saudi Arabia, no, but they got a lot of oil, and they have supported us in the past. And we count on them, and they are blowing us off because of Joe and his tough talk and a lot of other things. So Joe goes over there to meet with the man he called a murderer. He didn't like that. The fist bump was seen as disrespectful. And when Joe asked for more oil, Saudi Arabia told us to get lost. See what you can do with your friends in Iran. Iran! You'll remember that Trump had pretty serious sanctions in place. The Biden team gets in there, lifts the sanctions, gives them all kinds of money. The oil starts pumping. The money starts coming in from America. And then what does Iran do with all these billions of dollars that we've unfrozen and that well, they go to Hamas in Gaza and the Houthis in Yemen. And, well, you know what the Hamas did, right? October 7th, that is on Joe. These policies led to the slaughter on October 7th, and ever since, the women, the children, and that little baby who's still in custody, that's on Joe, that 1-year-old child. And right now he's trying to shut down the war, trying to shut it down before Israel does what it needs to do. This stuff is not just a game, it's real world. It really is. Sometimes we forget, we can't, and he is depraved. Be right back.